So I got convicted of conspiracy to traffic and illegal drugs, conspiracy to traffic. I got convicted of conspiracy to traffic and illegal drugs, 15 grams or more. I got convicted of conspiracy to commit Rico. I got hit with the Rico violation. Conspiracy to traffic and illegal drugs. What was it, 35 kilos or more? And they was crazy charges, man, crazy charges.
All right, good afternoon. This is State of Florida versus Stephen Testo with multiple cases before the court.
Yo, what's poppin', man? It's your boy The King, and this is the Incarceration podcast, where I talk about prison, pre, post, and present, and how everything that I experienced throughout my incarceration has forever changed my life. This is the Incarceration. So Forever Convict family, once again, we are on the journey to 50,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so now. Share. My dog, Big Lou, what's going on, Brody? First of all, man, welcome to the Incarceration podcast. And we're going to go ahead and just immediately jump into your story, man. So for the viewers who don't know who you are, just go ahead and introduce yourself and just begin to share with us your story of incarceration, but by beginning just with your childhood and your upbringing and what your early years of life was like.
First off, man, it's an honor to be at this podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? Because doing prison ministry, a lot of people, a lot of the brothers inside inside the prison, they already know about what you got going on, man. And I just want to say that it's truly an honor and a privilege to be here with you, man, doing this thing with you, bro.
For sure, bro. The honor's mine, my G. So let's go ahead and get in your story, dog.
But let me tell you something, man. So, my upbringing was good. You know what I'm saying? It was, my upbringing was, family there. Parents always been there. Growing up, I boxed as a kid. You know what I'm saying? And I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Y'all could tell by the hat. You know what I'm saying? So, coming up, my father was an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Just for some reason, the streets always, just was calling me. But at the age of 15, I started boxing in Brooklyn, and it was good. I definitely wanted to go further in it, man. But hanging out was probably my priority. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, my upbringing was legit. But I started going sideways when high school hit. You know what I'm saying? Started smoking herb at a young age. Beers, you know what I'm saying? Drinking 40s and brown bags in New York, man, putting it in the snow. My upbringing was good, but then the street started calling me. So, it was I don't regret none of the things that I went through as a young kid, you know what I'm saying? And as a teenager, like I said, man, was into the girls, was into just the streets, man, hanging out, smoking weed, drinking beers, and the street life, you know what I'm saying, at a young age. But I can always tell you this, I always had a heart to help, you know what I mean? I always had a heart to help people. But at the same time, I was still doing my thing, you know what I mean? And decisions were made, never regretted it, and I still live that way, man, you know what I'm saying?
That's real. So during that time, especially like the teenage years when you're smoking and drinking, when did like the real serious illegal activity begin? What was it, robbing, selling drugs? What happened, and at what age was it, and how did that lead to your first arrest?
Well, never got caught, you know what I'm saying? I never got caught, although, did sell drugs in the streets of Brooklyn. Never got caught, didn't put myself in position to get caught, but at the same time, I knew what I was doing was wrong, but at the same time, it was something like, you gotta be extra careful, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't be greedy. I knew a lot of people in Brooklyn that were greedy, man, like, you know what I'm saying, getting that money fast, but, in anything, you gotta take your time with it. So we started wilding out, man, right there in 51st Street and 6th Avenue in Brooklyn. And, we was just hanging out, man, and just doing what we do, man, as kids, man, as young adults, you know what I'm saying? But we were slick, you know what I'm saying? We thankfully, you know, we never got caught in our mess, you know, but you know, we just kept grinding and just kept working it. So in 1998, man, I got kind of tired of that lifestyle, and my parents had moved down to Florida prior to that, you know what I'm saying? And in 97, you know, they moved down in 1997 over here in Tampa. So in 1997, of Christmas of 97, we came down, my wife and I with our 2 kids, we came down and we kind of was captivated by Florida, you know what I mean? It was like a whole different vibe, man. Like, if anybody knows about New York, you know, I never ate at a beach before, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never ate at a restaurant in the beach, but, you know, we went to Clearwater, we ate, man, and that kind of captivated me, man. So, you know, we made the decision of moving to Florida in 98, and that's what we did, man. That's what we did. But the only thing is, you know, in 98 when we moved down, I kind of got into it with a couple of cousins that I had, you know what I'm saying? So I never knew I had cousins in Florida, you know, so they was already in the game, you know, and they started doing their thing. They was doing their thing for a minute. So I kind of like, you know, wanted to get into it too, man. So, you know, we started hustling together, man. And next thing you know, man, some dude gets caught with a couple of grams of heroin, you know what I mean? And turned state on every one of us, man. You know that. So I got caught, let me see, I got arrested in February of 2000. So I didn't even last not even 2 years in the streets. I think it was like 18 months in the streets of Florida, you know, and I got hit with some crazy charges, man. Conspiracy to traffic in illegal drugs. I got hit with a Rico charge, man, conspiracy to commit Rico, traffic in illegal drugs, 15 grams or more, you know, and, you know, they don't play about heroin, you know what I'm saying? So we went, you know, we started, you know, just doing our thing, and we went to jail, and next thing you know, we looking at a gang of time, all of us, you know, and through the whole court process and everything, man, they talking about 25 years, and, you know, unfortunately, you know, I got the 25, and the rest is history, man. You know what I'm saying?
How old were you when you were sentenced to 25 years?
Man, I was going on 29 years old. 29 years old, man.
And what were the charges you were convicted of?
So I got convicted of conspiracy to traffic in illegal drugs, conspiracy to traffic. I got convicted of conspiracy to traffic in illegal drugs, 15 grams or more. I got convicted of conspiracy to commit Rico. I got hit with the Rico violation. Conspiracy to traffic in illegal drugs. What was it, 35 kilos or more? And it you know, they was crazy charges, man, crazy charges.
So being 29, this is your first time being arrested?
Actually my second time.
Okay. What was, just real quick, what was the first time being arrested? How old were
So
you?
the first time being arrested, it was we went up to North New York. Like we was driving to New York, man, to go spend some time with, you know, with some boys and stuff like that, because we was going to a college, Sullivan, I want to say it was Sullivan County College, and we driving up there, and on the highway, you know, we passing blunts from car to car, man, doing 70, 75, you know what I'm saying? We're passing blunts, and we were speeding. We get pulled over, and it so happens that the car that I was in, it was chopped up. You know what I'm saying? Chopped up meaning the VIN numbers were changed, and you know, that's how they do it in New York. Like, you know, you steal a car, you change the VIN numbers, and that's your car. So we all ended up, about 4 of us ended up in jail, man, for the whole weekend. And obviously they dropped the charges, they let us go. They didn't, you know, they didn't convict us of nothing, praise God. But then, you know, that was the first time I went experience being locked up, you know?
Okay, so now at 29, being
Man.
sentenced to 25 years, man, how did that feel, man? Walk the viewer through. I'm assuming you took a plea, or did you lose trial?
Well, on the day of trial, I was taking it to the door. You know what I'm saying? I was taking it to the door. I wasn't copping out to nothing. But I knew what I was facing. You know what I'm saying? Because my lawyer really wasn't, I had a private attorney, but he really wasn't doing nothing for me. And I guess, you know, he just wanted to take the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? So they offered me the 25 and I wanted to go to the door with it. But, you know, now they try to hit you with the boo game. You know what I mean? They tell you, man, you got convicted, you're going to get life and all this and all that. So, you know, I started putting two and two together, man. And I went and I looked at my family. I had my clothes ready to go through to the door with it, bro. You know what I mean? And I had my family right there, man. And, you know, when they started saying, because, you know, when you traffic in illegal drugs, especially heroin, that's a first degree felony, man. And, you know, you could get 30 years or more, you know? And I guess, you know, my people talked sense to me, man. And like I said, I wanted to take it to the door, man. But, you know, I went and I copped out to the 25. You know, now in those days, it was day for day. It was a minimum mandatory sentence because of my trafficking charges, you know. But at 29 years old, man, getting sentenced to 25 years in prison. Now, mind you, if they didn't change the sentencing guidelines in 2006, I probably would have got out next year. You know what I mean? But since they changed the guidelines for a mandatory minimum on a non-violent offense, I got out after 21. But man, I was scared, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Took the time. I got to do it like a man, you know, with my head held up high, man. But at the same time, man, it was rough, man. Knowing I had a wife and kids out there, you know what I'm saying, waiting for me. But yeah, it was no joke, man. It was no joke.
How did it feel, like taking a 25 in the courtroom and then going back to the county jail, going back to the holding cell? Like, what was on your mind? What was your emotions? Like, how did it feel?
Man, bro, I remember that day like if it was yesterday, man. It was a feeling like all hell broke loose, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought my career as a husband and as a father, I thought I lost it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't, because I got saved in the county jail, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was a feeling like I was disappointed, man. Like I knew I was gonna get out of this. I knew that, you know, victory was mine. I knew it without a shadow of a doubt, man. But going back to the county jail, man, with a 25-year mandatory sentence, man, it was something that was just crazy, man. Like I wouldn't want to visit that part of that circumstance, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to visit that circumstance, but it was devastating, bro. It was like my emotions were like running high and low at the same time, you know what I mean? Like it was crazy, but I knew I got sentenced. It is what it is. I got to man up. I got to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Yeah.
I appreciate you for sharing that, bro. All right, so now let's get into the prison stories, man. So, man, let's start with that first day in prison, bro. From the county jail going to prison. How was that first day? The bus ride, intake? What happened, man?
Bro, first day. How about, like, when they was rounding us up in the county, man? You remember that? When they was rounding us up in the county, man, going to Orlando, OCI. Man, listen, man, you know, first, you know, they round you up in the county jail, going to prison. You already know that the county jails are cold. You know what I'm saying? So you're already kind of shaking a little bit, man, because it's cold in the county. But, bro, you got to do the thing. You got to strip and all this and all that just to get on the bus. You get shackled. You're walking like you can hardly walk, you know what I mean? And that's the first time I ever been on a Bluebird, man. Yo, and when I tell you, it smelled like piss in that bus, bro, straight up. Cause you know the Bluebirds got the toilets in the back of the bus, man, but the stench was bad. I'm like, man, boy. So the bus ride was crazy, bro. We was packed in there like sardines, bro. They 2 per seat, man, and you know, barely fit 2 people, man. You know what I'm saying, on a seat, man. But the bus ride was not good, man, because now your mind is racing. You know what I mean? Your mind is going in all different types of directions, man, and what you're gonna expect in prison. Somebody try you, you gotta defend yourself. You know, being a man of God, are you gonna give them the other cheek as well? And it's so many things that be running through a person's mind when, you know, on their way to prison, because you don't know what to expect. You know what I mean? The bus ride sucked. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Then when we got to OCI, you know, you got to go through the process of them calling your names. You get stripped. You got to do all the bend over and cough and all this and all that, man. You know, and then not only that, but, you know, you go into a holding cell, right? And in this holding cell, they got a big sign right there. Be quiet. You know what I mean? Like, don't say a word, bro. If you got homeboys with you, listen, don't talk to me. Don't say a word, man. I don't want to hear nothing. My co-defendant is right next to me, man. And it's only us 2 in this holding cell, bro. My co-defendant running his mouth. He's talking. And I'm looking straight at Sarge. You know, Sarge was like my size, but fatter, yo. Like they said he was a security guard for the Orlando Magic, yo. You know what I'm saying? So I'm staring at him because his desk is behind a plastic window outside of the holding cell, and I could see him steady looking at us, right? Co-defendant still talking. You know what I mean? I hit him in his knee with my leg, and I point to the sign, and he's still running his mouth. Yo, when Sarge looked up and caught my co-defendant, he got up. Like I don't know how he made it that fast to my co-defendant, but he went up to my co-defendant and slapped the taste out his mouth. Like, what that son say? Boom! Like, I felt it, dude. You feel me? Like, I was sitting right next to my co-defendant, and just the power of the slap, bro, I was like, okay, I see how this is gonna be, man. From then on, bro, I knew, you know, a lot of the COs was gonna, you know, kind of crazy a little bit, you feel me? But after that slap my co-defendant got, bro, he ain't talked no more after that, man, you feel me? It was crazy, man, it was crazy. It's crazy.
So how was the transition at reception and then to your first like permanent prison? You know, as far as like what was some of the, I guess, the learning curves or just your adjustment navigating throughout prison life, and how was your adjustment into your permanent prison? Where'd you go?
You know, when you get to OCI, you become a transit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you get issued your blues, you know, you go through the process of classification, you go through medical, you go through all of that, right? But the transition from being a transit to your permanent camp, anybody who's in transit just wants to get to their permanent camp, you know what I mean? So that they can settle down, do what they gotta do, you know, get paperwork in to receive Vizzo, to get canteen and all of that, man. And, you know, the transition from being a transit to my permanent camp, it probably was about a month I had to wait, you know what I mean, in those times. But the actual transition was quick, man. Was like, boom, okay, I'm at my permanent. My first camp was Madison CI. I'm like 5 hours from the crib. It's like your first camp, they send you to the furthest away from the crib, man, you know what I mean? And went to Madison, man, and, you know, got involved with some good Christian brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? Some good brothers in Christ, and you know, formed a lot of relationships, built a lot of relationships in there. You know, it was the transition was a lot better than being in OCI. You know what I mean? Because when you go to your permanent camp, this is what you're doing. They give you a job, and you just take off from there, man. You know, the transition was fast, man, because if you have a mindset of wanting to do better, the transition is definitely going to be easier for you, man, for sure.
That's real. What was your everyday schedule like in prison? Like whenever you began to settle in, especially at your permanent prison and institution, what was like your everyday prison schedule? You know, how did your days look in prison?
Man, well, I got to Madison, right? And I was in this one dorm because my custody at first was closed custody. Like my custody was closed, and you know, I'm in a dorm with dudes doing life, and you know, you know how that goes, man. And like my first week at Madison, there was a dude, I forgot his name, man. It was years ago. So he picked up his locker. This is before they started bolting down the lockers to the ground, right? He picked up his locker, walked over to the officer station, bro. This was like probably 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like 3 or 4 bunks away from the officer station, you know what I mean? I slept on the top bunk. Yo, buddy picked up his locker and threw it out the officer station window. The window didn't break, man, but boom, the locker fell on the ground. Boom, 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 everything. Just cursing her out and whatnot. Of course, she hit that button. All the officers came, man. He went, picked up his bro games. Y'all remember them bro games back in the days? If you was locked up in the 2000s, them bro games, boy, he picked up his boots and just hit a couple of sergeants. Boom, boom. They started spraying mace. So that part of the story was kind of crazy, man, because as soon as the police took out their bottles and hit them up with that pepper spray, the fans, there's no AC, first off. The fans were on. So when they hit him, they hit everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because the fans is blowing everything, man. Everybody up underneath their covers and all that. But I was like, yo, this is way different from being in the streets, yo. Straight up, because you're doing time with dudes you don't even, you don't even know what they're thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like their thought process, they probably was in prison for 15 years before you showed up. You know what I mean? So their way of thinking is kind of with a chain gang mentality. You feel me? And you know, the whole process was kind of, you know, it took a lot to get used to, but in order for me to make my everyday schedule, I had to be aware of my surroundings. You know what I mean? So, you know, breakfast, they turn on the lights at like 4 in the morning. You already know how that goes. You go to breakfast, and every day they giving you a different meal, but it stays the same forever, yo. You know what I mean? So you go, you stay up. After you eat breakfast, man, you watch the news on TV. Get ready to go to work. I worked in the rec yard, so I worked in the weight pile. This was when we had weights. I worked in the weight pile. My job was to make sure when everybody leaves, the weights are put back to where they're supposed to be at. And it was just, you know, breakfast, work, back to the dorm, dinner, rec yard, back to the dorm, get counted, and every day's the same thing. Same cycle, you know what I'm saying? Same routine. It don't change, man. It don't change.
Keep coming with some crazy things you've seen in prison. It don't have to be like, of course, you know, whether it be violent, whether it be funny or weird. Keep giving us some more prison stories, man. Stuff that, like, throughout 21 years in prison, some experiences and memories you'll never forget.
Man, there was you know, in prison, some of the craziest moments I'm gonna say is the overdoses, bro. You know what I mean? There's a good friend of mine, you know, excuse me, a good friend of mine, he overdosed on some, what was it, fentanyl, you know what I mean? And he was well liked throughout the whole compound, man. And you know, he went, I guess he overdosed, and the police seen that he was unresponsive, and you know, they try to revive him, but you know, he was already dead, you know what I mean? But the beautiful thing about that is, man, just how the compound got together. You know what I mean? Like, we all met up in the rec yard, man. We pray for his family, because, you know, it's tough when you lose a loved one who's doing time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's hard for a friend of yours, man, who is in prison with you. You know, it's hard to see him go. You know what I mean? So that's one of the craziest stories. But I got plenty more stories that's crazy, you know, with slashings and just a lot of stuff that I seen. But that one kind of hit hard, man, because he was a close friend of ours, man. But just some of the violent, it's a lot of violence in prison, man. You know, I remember when they took razor blades out of prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't shave no more with razor blades because people getting $150 in their faces. And you know, there's one story where there was a Latin king went to jail because somebody planted a phone in his bunk. You know what I'm saying? And he had nothing to do with that phone. And you know, everybody in the dorm was telling, yo, get that phone out of there, get that cell phone up out of there. And guess buddy didn't do it, man. And this one brother, he was another Latin king, but he was good people. And you know, he was like, yo, Big Lou, man, it's crazy, bro, I'm gonna do something to buddy, man. I say, yo, listen, man, don't do nothing, man. You're about to get out of prison. You know, you got a family to go to. Nah, man, nah. My brother went to jail because of, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to like talk him out of it, you know, before he does anything crazy. So you know, I'm trying to talk to him and just speak wisdom into his life, man. But you know, being incarcerated and being part of that lifestyle is, you know, you got to do what you got to do, you know what I mean? So we all go to chow, you know, and I'm sitting, you know, it's 4 per table. Y'all already know about that, man, you know what I'm saying? So it's 4 per table. As soon as I hear commotion, I hear, oh, you cut my face, you cut my face. And this was in the cafeteria, man. And buddy got hit from the top of his eyebrow all the way down his eye, his eye down to his cheekbone, and like kind of like below a little below his chin. And he did it. He told on him quick. He did it. So it happened right behind me, man. And I know a couple of guys that were sitting in that vicinity got blood all over them. But thank God, you know, I didn't get no blood on me, man, because, you know, I didn't want to get no question. I didn't want to get questioned about nothing. I just wanted to go back to the dorm, and we all did eventually, man. But, you know, he, you know, he got shipped, and I guess they put a case on him because of that, man. But that's one of the reasons, you know, why they took razors out of the prison system, man, because guys were getting cut in their faces, and you know, also, you know, we used to get edges, you know what I'm saying? We used to get edges with the razor blade. You know about that, right? We used to get edges, man, with razor blades. And, you know, a lot of us, we had beards, so we wanted to look sharp for Vizzo. And they, you know, the police caught on to that, man, and they took razor blades, man. But, you know, people getting their throats cut, man, I've seen people get stabbed up. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
How was it doing 21 years with a wife and kids, you know, out in the free world? You know, did your wife, you know, rock out with you the whole bid? How was it like watching your kids grow up in visitation parks and like maintaining that father relationship with your children? Like, how was that? Share the viewer just the journey of, you know, being a husband and being a father, you know, incarcerated for 21 years, bro.
Man, first off, man, I just want to give honor to my wife. You know what I'm saying? I want to give honor to my kids. You know, It was rough, man. At first it was rough because, you know, like I said, we moved down to Florida in 98 and I caught this charge in 2000. And, you know, it was rough for her at first, man. You know, we both was working, you know, but, you know, now she had to be the sole provider for our 2 kids. You know, when I got locked up, my son was 2 and my daughter was 7. You know what I mean? So here it is, a woman was not created to do a job of a man, or a wife was not created to do a job of a husband. You know what I'm saying? So it was rough because at any time, you know, I can call home and she could just tell me, man, listen, I'm lonely. I just can't do this anymore and stuff like that, you know. So all honor, I give her so much honor, man. I thank her all the time. And, you know, on her part, it was super rough, man. You know what I'm saying? It was super hard for her to be able to, you know, fulfill those duties as a woman by herself. You know what I'm saying? It was hard for her to fulfill her duties as a wife by herself while the husband is not there, you know what I mean? And, you know, it was definitely tough, bro, because she had no life either, bro. You know, I'm the one doing time. I'm the one that's in prison, but she's also doing time as well, waiting for me, you know. And I made sure with my kids, even though my son ain't know how to read at 2 years old, I made sure that my kids receive at least 2 letters a week. You know what I mean? At least 2 letters a week. And, you know, there's this one story I want to share, man. And every time I get interviewed, I share this story, you know. And I just thank God for her, man, because she waited 21 years, bro. You know what I mean? 21 and a half. And not too many women can do that. You know what I'm saying? And I got shipped from, my first camp was Madison. She didn't go because it was too far from where we was living in Tampa. And then my second camp was Sumter. So it was like 45 minutes to an hour, you know what I mean, to come and visit. And she would come like twice a month, which was amazing. But, you know, in 2000, I was at Sumter from 2004 to December of 2010. And when they opened up Blackwater CI in Santa Rosa County, they shipped like 300 of us. I was part of that group that got shipped to Blackwater CI, you know what I'm saying? And that's way up in the Panhandle, bro. Close to like, what, Alabama area, probably. But, you know, it was a tough situation being far from them again. You know what I mean? Like, here it is, we're still forming a relationship. We're still building up our marriage. While I was at Sumter, she was coming to visit me. But as soon as we got shipped, man, it was tough on her again. You know what I mean? So I ended up in Blackwater CI in December of 2010. And 2011, I call her, you know, because I was making 2 phone calls a week, man, because, you know, I ain't want to always be on the phone like that. But in 2011, you know, we had a conversation, and she says, baby, I don't know if I could do this no more, man. And, you know, me being the man of God that I am, you know, my first thing was like, just understand where she's coming from. You know what I mean? So I said, babe, listen, whatever decision you make, whatever decision you want to get separated, divorced, listen, I will support you no matter what. You know, and we talked a little more and we hung up, man. I didn't, after that conversation, you know, I wanted her to ponder on some things, you know what I'm saying? While I'm pondering on some things. Now I'm going through it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through it because could this be like it? You know what I'm saying? Could my marriage be done with, man, because I'm doing this time? Now, this was in 2011. I still had, you know, at least 10 years left. You know what I mean? I had 10 years on my sentence left, man. And just the thought of, you know, separation, you know, was hard on my part but I know it was devastating to her as well, man. So I didn't call her for 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I let her think and I let her ponder on some things for a couple of weeks, man. And I called back and, you know, we had another conversation and she said, man, she been thinking and she been thinking. She tells me she wrote out this long, she might as well just wait. You know what I'm saying? And that was like the best news I ever heard in my life, yo. You know what I mean? Understanding that my career as a husband wasn't over. You know what I mean? So it actually took my love for her to another level. You know, knowing that, you know, she says she's gonna ride out with me, ride or die. You know, when I first got locked up, that's what she said, man. Ride or die, man. You know?
That's real, bro. Man, shout out to your wife, man, and all the wives out there who are holding their husbands down, or the husbands are holding their wives down, whoever's doing the time. So shout out to all the ones who are, you know, really enduring alongside their loved one in the middle of the bid. All right, man. So in summary, bro, I guess in closing as well, you know, do you feel, you know, how do you feel in regards to all of your 21 years in prison? You know, every second, minute, hour, day, decade, man, like, do you feel like all of that time positively impacted your life or negatively? And if so, how? And then continue on, I guess, with, you know, your transition out of prison, how that was, and what's going on in your life now.
Well, man, first off, you know, I don't regret doing all the time I did. You know what I'm saying? It definitely, it was, I'm not gonna say that, you know, it was a super amazing moment in my life, man, but, you know, being away from my wife and my kids, you know, that definitely was painful. But, you know, I don't regret, you know, being sentenced to all that time, you feel me? Because it created a new man. You know what I mean? I received Christ as my Lord and personal Savior, you know, and just being focused on God, man, and being able to bring forth word to minister to the body in most of the prisons that I've been to, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been to like 5 or 6 camps and I've preached in most of them, you know, and we helped build up a church, you know, at Hardy, you know what I mean, work camp. And, you know, it was something that I would never forget, of course. Would I commit crimes again to go back in prison? Nah. You know what I'm saying? Nah. But like I said, I don't regret going to prison because it created a new man, you know what I'm saying? With the unction of God, of course. And, you know, no regrets, everything was positive. I actually, when I signed up for work release in 2019 at Hardy CI, I went to work release as a licensed wastewater operator, man. You know what I mean? I passed my state exam at Hardy, and, you know, I was working in the maintenance department, you know, plumbing, and just, I was always good with that type of stuff, man. And, you know, just being able to run a plant was just like super amazing, man. And being able to fix leaks and do the stuff that I like, man. You know what I mean? And that was like positive in my life, man, because, you know, as I went to work release and I was making money and I saved up my money, and, you know, they already take half of it, you know what I mean? But we was able to save up a lot of money, and I got out, and first thing I did was, you know, I told my wife, because she waited for me, thank God, for 21 years. Like, I give her so much honor for that. You know, first thing I did was paint the interior of the house, and I started working for a contractor and started learning the ins and outs, you know what I mean? And something happened, and I said to myself, man, I'm gonna start my own thing, man. You know what I mean? And I got out May 3rd, 2021. By September of 2021, now this is like 6 months after I got out of prison, you know what I'm saying? I created a company, it's called Positive Energy Handyman Services. And, you know, started with the little things, man. And, you know, here it is, gonna be about 2000, it's gonna be 2025 in a couple of months, and we still up and running, man. We're a successful business. I got 2 guys working for me too now, and my wife works with us. It's just, you know, being able to give my tithes to the church, man, that I go to, man. It's just an amazing thing, man, because God multiplies that, you know. And just being able to go back into prisons, man, that, you know, to minister God's word to the people, man, and just being able to just go in there and preach the word of God, man. And that's an amazing, we got an amazing team, you know what I'm saying? Me, EI, Trap, man, we go in there, man. Them boys accept us, man. We just do what God do, man. And, you know, it's the best is yet to come, man, even though we're walking in the best right now. You know what I'm saying? The best is yet to come, man. So, you know, like I said, I don't regret going to prison. You know, would I commit crimes to go back? No, sir. You know what I mean? But God is so good to his people, man. He never leave you nor forsake you, man. And at the same time, you know, stay focused. You know, me, I couldn't work for nobody. I didn't want to work for nobody. So this is why we created Positive Energy Handyman Services, man. And we've done remodeled about 10, 11 houses, man. We got a lot of work lined up, man, and our work is good, you know. And you know, just without God, man, this wouldn't be possible, man. Straight up.
Amen, bro. And then lastly, bro, just like a closing word, motivation and encouragement, whether it be to those who are facing time, those who are doing time, or those who have loved ones doing time, or just from an outside perspective of people who don't even understand what it's like to do time. Just what would be a closing word of inspiration or encouragement that you would leave the viewers?
Yeah, man. So, man, no matter what you're going through, no matter if you're facing time, no matter if you're about to get out, no matter if you got a life sentence or whatever it is, man, I just want to tell you, man, that, you know, greatness is inside of you. Amen. No matter what you're going through in life, you know, greatness is inside of you. And as long as greatness is inside of you, man, everything is like, it's possible. You know what I'm saying? The possibilities are endless, man. And, you know, if you're about to go in and you got to do time, stay busy. You know what I'm saying? Stay focused. You know, stay away from the things that's going to get you in position to get in trouble. You know what I mean? Just do the right thing. Stay obedient, you know what I mean? Because how can, if you have greatness inside of you, how can, you know, how can greatness not do what's right inside for you? You know what I mean? Greatness, you know, it takes a lot for, you know, a man or a woman who has greatness inside of them to do the total opposite of what you're supposed to do. You know, so stay focused. You know, in my whole 21 and a half, man, I stayed focused. I had a task. I conquered it. You know, a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. You know, I wasn't always a saint in the chain gang, man, but, you know, I stayed focused. I stayed true to myself, man. And most importantly, man, I always gave God glory, man. You know what I mean? Just stay motivated, man. I encourage you to study something. You know what I mean? Whether it's, if you're going to a work camp and you want to work at a wastewater plant, study about wastewater. You know what I mean? If there's something that you want to do, man, put your thoughts on paper, man. You know, that's what I did. I created a business back in like '03 or '04 on mobile car detailing, you know what I'm saying? But that never came to pass because I was called to become a handyman, you know what I mean? And God blessed me with this business. But stay focused, stay true, stay motivated, you know, and do the right thing, man. Do the right thing, man. Stay positive at all times, and you know, you're gonna go through some situations while you're incarcerated. You're gonna go through some circumstances that's gonna be way beyond out of your control, man. But you know, the race is not for the swift, bro, but for the one who endures, man. For sure. Definitely. My name is Big Lou, and this is the Incarceration Podcast.
Share this channel with somebody who hasn't. And listen, if you've done any time, I'm talking about a county jail, state penitentiary, federal, or even drug programs, whatever. If you want to share your story on this channel, go ahead and email me at eithekingbooking. Go ahead and put your stories in the comments below. If there's anything that I talked about slightly, you want me to go more in depth on, or anything I haven't talked about at all, and it's a good idea, drop it in the comments. Let me know. And also remember, I am a rapper. My artist name is E.I. the King. You can find my music on all platforms. I also have another channel, YouTube channel, my official artist channel, E.I. the King. And I also have another podcast. It's called Let Me Talk Bro, where I talk more so about my life, music, ministry, and all these things. Also, I have a Patreon with exclusive content. Everything is in the description below. So listen, man, till the next time, it's your boy, E.I. the King.